Dr. Ichiro Watanabe had seen over a century pass by. At 104, he was Japan's oldest practicing physician, still taking consultations twice a week in his quiet Tokyo clinic. His hands were slower, his walk measured, but his mind sharp as a blade. Patients often asked for pills, for supplements, for the secret to his longevity. He always smiled and gave them the same answer. It is not what you eat. It is what you do before you sleep. When the reporter came from a national health magazine to interview him, she expected a list: meditations, green teas, brain games, maybe some sacred herb from Okinawa. Instead, he handed her a single page with 6 handwritten words in neat practice strokes: empty your mind before you sleep. The reporter blinked. Is that all? Dr. Watanabe nodded. If you go to sleep with a cluttered mind, you poison your brain slowly. Not in days, not even months, but over years. And by the time you feel it, it is too late. He explained how he began the habit when he was 63, shortly after his wife died. Back then, he'd been overwhelmed with grief, stress, and medical obligations. He would go to bed every night with thoughts racing: memories, regrets, to-do lists, unfinished conversations. One night, after a long emergency shift, he suffered a mild stroke. He recovered, but it scared him. The neurologist told him his brain was exhausted. Not tired, exhausted. That same week, Dr. Watanabe changed how he approached bedtime. Every night, he told the reporter, I sit in my wooden chair by the window. I close my eyes. I review my day slowly, like watching a film in reverse. I accept what happened. I let go of what I cannot change. Then I name every thought that lingers, and I release it. The technique wasn't religious, though some mistook it for prayer. It was practical, a sort of mental hygiene. He called it Shusen no Meiso, the closing meditation. Scientists later confirmed what he had sensed intuitively. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, and when left unchecked, especially in older adults, it shrinks the hippocampus, damages neurons, and disrupts sleep cycles. Going to bed anxious or mentally overloaded leads to poor quality rest, which accelerates cognitive decline. The habit of calming the mind before sleep, on the other hand, was found to preserve mental agility, reduce inflammation, and even slow memory loss. Dr. Watanabe never read the studies. He didn't need to. He had his own proof. By the time he turned 75, he had outlived all his siblings. At 80, he was still walking 2 miles a day. At 90, he was mentoring younger doctors in geriatric clinics. By 100, he was the subject of global research on superagers. Yet, every night, no matter how long the day or how tired his bones, he returned to the wooden chair. He cleared the mental dust. His grandson, Kenji, once asked him, "Ji-chan, you ever get bored? Don't you just want to fall into bed?" Dr. Watanabe had smiled. If you go to bed carrying the day, your dreams become heavy. If you go to bed light, your mind stays young. When Kenji turned 60 himself, he took his grandfather's advice seriously. At first, it felt awkward, talking to himself, naming his thoughts, letting them go. But slowly, it became his own ritual. Within weeks, his sleep deepened. He stopped waking up groggy. His morning headaches vanished. One night, as he sat with Dr. Watanabe on the porch of their countryside house, he asked, "Why do you think people ignore this? Everyone wants pills. No one wants silence." The old doctor looked at the dark sky. Because silence is hard. It shows us what we try to forget. He turned his gaze to the moon. But if you do not face your thoughts, they grow in the dark, and they steal from you. Not all at once, but piece by piece. He tapped his temple gently. First your peace, then your sleep, then your memory. That night, Kenji wrote down his grandfather's words and passed them to friends. Some scoffed, others tried. The ones who tried returned weeks later with stories, how they had started dreaming again, remembering names better, or waking with a clearer head. One woman, in her late 60s, said it was the first time in 10 years she hadn't needed sleep medication. Another said she felt like her brain had been unclogged. By the time Dr. Watanabe passed quietly in his sleep at 106, tens of thousands had adopted his pre-sleep ritual. His clinic became a memorial, and the wooden chair, preserved in glass, sat beside a placard that read, "Empty your mind before sleep. What you carry to bed, you carry to the end." His method spread not through lectures, but through whispers, from families to neighbors, from one aging parent to another. Not a product, not a brand, just a ritual, a choice. In a world that prized stimulation, the doctor had offered silence. And in doing so, He had helped thousands strengthen the most vital organ they had before they even closed their eyes.